Managing Director, Ms. Jackie Chua, and our ASI CEO, Mr. Moy Saha. You've met Ms. Jackie previously, and it's my pleasure to introduce Sir Moy. He can give a simple welcome to everybody before I turn over the artist's stage.
Camera. Wow. Okay. Knowing the mic.
You broke it, sir.
Here.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to spend the evening with us. You can't.
They better use the one with Sheila.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for taking the time to come and spend the evening with us. I hope you all enjoyed your dinner or are in the midst of enjoying one. I am Moy. I look after all the animation activities for the Synergy 88 group, and I hope to kind of introduce to you some new properties for all of you all to watch. And I think many of you know that there's something that we are currently doing specifically for the Philippines market, and I could talk to you guys more specifically about that. If any of you all are interested, we can do that offline. In the meantime, let me just hand this over to our artists who are visiting us, and feel free to have a conversation with them. Thank you.
So, again, we would like to introduce Mr. Daniel Cabuco. He is the principal artist for Sony Interactive Studios, and Hong Lee from Riot Games. So, as I've said, we are very happy to meet them and for them to visit the studio. And also, our artists are very privileged to meet. These are the idols in the gaming industry. So, feel free to have a chat with them, the idols, gaming idols. So, please feel free to shoot your questions, and they'll be more than happy to answer.
Share the microphone?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. As you know, Hong and I are both in the game industry, and we both came here because we felt that the Philippines was a great pool of untapped talent.
You broke it.
I think the speaker is...
Okay, can you hear me okay? All right. So we feel that the Philippines has a lot of great talent. It's kind of an unkept, secret weapon that we talk about and joke about in the industry, that there are a lot of Filipino art directors, a lot of Filipinos in the game industry in America, and they have produced tremendous work, tremendous talent. So it was my pleasure to come back here and give back to the community and to just see what's going on out there, and see the vibrancy of the people and how the industry is doing out here.
It's actually really good to be part of this, to see the community here is thriving, and lots of amazing talent there. I would love to see the continuation of all the amazing artists here grow. Did you guys have any specific questions? I'm sorry.
The floor is now open for questions. Just raise your hand so we can go. Karen?
No, oh, okay.
Oh, hi, Karen.
It's okay. My voice is loud.
No, that's fine.
What advice would you give children who want to pursue a career in the gaming industry? And what should they tell their parents to convince them?
That there's actually a big, bright future for the gaming industry. It's expanding beyond America and beyond Europe right now. And due to globalization of our cell phones and everything, there's a big market for that, and it's a really lucrative career. If you tell your parents that art is no longer just a hobby, you can actually make a living doing that.
Yeah, I would say that if they dream of making something big, to pursue that dream with all of their passion. To be really good at it, though, they can't put one toe in the water and only go halfway. If they really want to do it, they have to get good at it and commit to it. And so they should master the basics, master drawing and painting, both Tom and I have found out over the years, I've been in the game industry for more than 20 years, that the technology has changed a lot. But the one thing that hasn't changed is the need for people with strong artistic abilities. If you have that, the technology can change and it doesn't matter. So as long as they have that strength and that ability to master the basics, then they'll be fine. Secondly, I would say that the game industry, as Tom said, is globalized. There are definitely huge careers for artists now. And the important thing to remember is that people need more than just to eat and sleep. And after they're eating, sleep, after they're healthy, they want to be entertained. There's a reason the game industry and the movie industry are billion-dollar industries. People, no matter where they're from, need to be entertained. They crave it. And so what you're doing here is you're providing a service to help entertain people, to bring people together, to give joy to their lives. People need more than this to be healthy. So I would say that every parent's going to have a kind of twinge against it. But if they take a look at the numbers coming in from the game industry, if they take a look at the numbers coming from the animation industry, they'll see it's a healthy, vibrant industry that's growing. And it needs good artists constantly to come into the series and really shake things up and really support it. We need it all the time. We're always looking for good artists. And I think that you have to understand that it's a healthy industry.
Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, we need artists from the Philippines that knows the Filipino culture to design for the Filipino community. And it's a vibrant community, and there's a lot. The market is expanding a lot. And when people stay home, they actually spend less money and they buy games. And when the economy is bad, people actually stay home. And so the game industry and animation industry is pretty much very much. I wouldn't say recession-proof, but it's resilient. Very much, very resilient within the face of the economy.
Yes.
Okay. Nice to see you again, guys. Yeah, we saw each other earlier. So my question is, we were informed that you guys are here on your own initiative.
Yes.
So you're not representing your companies.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. So you have something like an advocacy or something. Can you tell us more about it?
Oh no, I came here just because I want to learn more about the culture, and I came here because of pretty much my own vacation. I'm not representing Riot during this trip. I'm just coming here because I really want to learn about the culture and the people and the artists here.
Oh, okay.
And similarly, I'm not representing Sony in any official capacity, but I am here on my own time because I really want to tap into the talent that I see here in the Philippines. It's a constant. I see Filipino artists all the time that are really great in the United States. And I think to myself, why isn't more coming out of the Philippines? So I wanted to come here and see, how it's working here and what kind of talent there is out here and how that sort of thing, and those kinds of things. And to give back. I really enjoy giving back. I've been giving talks for about 10 years now to other schools and things like that. I thought it was time to come back to the Philippines and give a talk here.
Okay, thank you.
Can you tell us what you've seen so far? This is your first time to do this.
What I've seen, I mean, it's only been a for a day, so
Animation-wise?
Overall.
Overall, I'm really impressed by the enthusiasm of all the artists here. They want to go out there and produce, and they're very eager, especially going to Synergy. I mean, I'm sorry, going to Synergy, all the artists are really amazing. They're very passionate, and they want to go out and do things. I think there's a need for it, there's a demand. I think this generation will create that demand for this market.
Yeah, similarly, I'd say I was very impressed with the talent level of the people I've seen here, the enthusiasm, and of course the smiling, happy faces of the Filipino people. I mean, it's just a wonderful thing, a very strong sense of camaraderie, a very strong sense of passion for wanting to do something artistic. And for me, it's just, I've been back here since I was 3, but it's just great to see everybody. Everything's very familiar. And I feel like I know everybody, so I don't know them yet.
I think it's really important that at least in America, we have they create a lot of products that the rest of the world watches. I think it's really important that eventually, I'd like to see this happen in the Philippines as well, where America produces a lot of things here, but I would like to see companies who did develop their own IP and continue to watch Filipino-made products.
And also, I'd like to just, as an informative thing, let the Filipino people know just how much Filipinos are involved in every level of film and game and entertainment. We're all over the place. We're saturated. But no one seems to know about it. Like I said, the best kept secret is the Filipino art directors. A lot of those guys. There are a lot of us out there, and if the people here knew that, then they probably feel even stronger about their passions and understand that there are doors open to us because we're uniquely set up. So like everybody here has some kind of artistic ability. It's really fantastic, and so I think that is something I wanted to just let people know.
I agree with Daniel here. Most of my really good art directors back in the States were all Filipinos. My first job in the animation industry, my directors were both from the Philippines. I'm sorry, both when I first started in the industry, I was an intern in an animation company, and both my directors were from the Philippines, and they really inspired me to do art where I'm at today. So there's a lot of Filipino talent in the States here. I'm not sure a lot of you here are aware of it, but they contribute a lot to our talent back home.
We designed characters for a game called Soul Reaver, and that was designed by Filipinos, So it's that kind of a thing where you just learn that art is saturated everywhere. It's really surprising, but at the same time, for me now, it's not surprising. It's almost expected at this point.
How did you guys start that in the field, current field of yours? How did you do this game?
Well, I went to art school in Pasadena at the Art Center College of Design, and as I came out of it, this is going to take me, there was a company advertising for making a game from Sega to Nintendo, or Nintendo to Sega, excuse me. And so I joined a startup company, and from there I jumped to like Nova Logic, and then I went to Crystal Dynamics, and I found a lot of other companies that are just move my way up. But because I was aesthetically trained, I was able to learn the programs and train myself on all of those different technologies.
Do you guys have knowledge about programming? What can you advise a program language?
We didn't really program.
Yeah.
I mean, most we ever done I've done is batch programming. A little bit of Python.
But purely on animation, 3D side or 2D?
2D side, 3D.
What can you advise what can you advise to the people that currently trying to know more about the 2D side to translate it to the 3D?
For animation?
Yes, for the animation.
Well, all of the basics are important. So knowing your timing and the basics of good animation, like mastering the bouncing ball, mastering walk cycles, that's really important information to know whether you do 2D or 3D. In fact, I see a lot of portfolios, people just jump into the 3D, but they don't master the basics. And because of that, for whatever reason, maybe they're rushing through a program or they just want to get into it, we have to reject their portfolios. But those people who master the basics and do really well, it translates very nicely over to 3D.
Do you advise sir to start first in the traditional side before jumping into the 2D side and to the 3D side?
At this point, it's not necessary, not for animation per se, but it always helps. It doesn't hurt to do 2D animation to be good at it, because you understand timing, you understand choreography, and those kinds of things. But you could go into 3D, but again, mastering the basics of like even the bouncing ball or the walk cycle is huge. You have to know those things, otherwise your portfolio is never going to get you past the door.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello there. I'd like to talk about your childhood. So, what video games did you play growing up, and how did it influence you in your current careers right now?
Okay.
So that's for both of you.
Okay, great. When I was very young, I used to work in the security guard at a video game arcade, and I grew up playing Street Fighter very young. So we used to play Street Fighter all the time, and also another game called Toshinden. So growing up, I was like, wow, I want to design Street Fighter characters. And so later on, I found a school where Dan and I both attended at different times called Art Center, and we found out there's a career path to do so. So I started off security guard and wanted to do video games. That's how I got started.
My dad, this is going to take me really bad, he bought an Atari, but it was an old Atari that was integrated with pinball and breakout and stuff like that. So we would sit down as a family and play breakout and pinball. And after that, I was just hooked on games. I played Atari, I played Nintendo, I played PlayStation 1, Sega. I played all of these different games, like and got into Street Fighter as well, and just every like old school game you can imagine, we played it. And we set our imaginations free. It was basically a time for us to be really enjoying that childhood, to really enjoy having a strong imagination. I played Pitfall and Atari, I pretended I was Indiana Jones, and it was fantastic. And it also gave us an understanding and a curiosity for wanting to figure out how these are made. Like, we also, when we were young, started building sprites and started building animations just because we figured out, oh, that's really cool and how that works. And because we weren't afraid of the technology, we were able to jump in and try new things. And it's served me well ever since. So after, even while I was an art center, I knew I wanted to go into computer graphics. And when I got out, I took every opportunity I could just to learn about it.
Are there any other artists that you admire?
Thousands.
Like anyone in particular, like any artist that you both admire that inspire your work, or anything else that inspires you?
I mean, 2D side, I like Brian Froud a lot. Dark Crystal is one of my favorite films. I like Adam Hughes. His use of line and form is fantastic. The way he paints and constructs things. I like the old school masters, of course, Titian and all those kinds. Lawrence Alma-Tadema. He's I believe a pre-Raphaelite. And he basically painted these beautiful, beautiful paintings of like springtime and stuff like that. With James Gurney and Ian McCaig. There are all of these great artists who paint. Bernd Hogarth was awesome, and I got to learn under him at Art Center. That was a lot of fun. What a character he was. And there are many artists. In fact, in 3D now, there are so many good ones too. I like Ryan Meinerding now. He's amazing. He's a concept artist at Marvel. I like, what else do I like? It's so much. It even depends on the categories. For user interface, I like Ash Thorpe, and for character designs, Kevin Chen. Tom's good too. And there's just thousands of artists you like for each category: 2D, 3D, sculpting, all of those kinds of things. You've got all of our specialties. Right? Like more than I can even wrap it up.
When I was a kid, I used to watch Macross and a lot of Japanese animation. So Robotech was a big influence in my life. Growing up, I used to watch a lot of anime, very few that was available, and I grew up realizing, oh, wow, I want to draw robots. And that really inspired me. But growing up, I realized it takes a lot more than just cut robots. You need basic foundation. You need perspective. You need logic drawings. You need to draw figures. You need to draw all that basic before you get good at drawing robots. So, but Macross started me, and Street Fighter started me to want to be an artist. And I think when I finally got to art school, I realized you don't draw robots to get better. You draw basic other things to get better in drawing robots.
I also like Yoshitaka Amano and
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and Masamune Shiro, who does Ghost in the Shell.
My question is, what characters did you guys develop, and what is the inspiration for the characters that you guys
I did characters for Soul Reaver, Cain, Raziel, Legacy of Cain, Soul Reaver. I also designed characters for Tomb Raider, Lara Croft. We did the reboot for her at Crystal Dynamics. We become Buffy the Vampire Slayer for Xbox. It's a lot of character development in all of those things, and licensed titles are actually more difficult than freeform characters, because with licensed titles you have to get approval from the actor, or you have to get approval from the company that owns the license. But in some ways, Tomb Raider was even more difficult because you're trying to realize someone that everybody knows and has an idea about. So it was difficult there because everybody had an opinion about what she should look like, and they would tell you with no uncertain terms. Even the secretary would walk up to me and tell me what she should look like, and I was like, so yeah, I'm sorry, what was the second part of your question? You said
How the inspiration for
the inspiration. Well, you do reference, you do research, you look at movies and TV shows and plays and books. Yeah, what I always tell artists is that you can't get good stuff out until you put good stuff in. So you have to be well-read. You have to be well-versed in movies. You have to be well-versed in all of your favorite artists. You have to immerse yourself in those things. And when your brain is saturated, then you'll come out with something cool. And you'll have, I love Brian Froud. I deeply saturated his work. And I did Legacy of Cain Soul Reaver. I drew on a lot of those shapes and designs and forms. I didn't copy them, but they were the inspiration behind it. And I used those same kind of mysterious glyphs and those kind of things to help design the character and the shapes and their stories. Yeah, so I always try to do a visual storytelling with the character. You always try to say like what the character's about by just looking at them, and build a rich history that way.
I guess the projects I worked on in the past were Uncharted. Helped out most of the characters for Uncharted 2. I did some characters for Uncharted 3, and I did some exploration for Uncharted 4, but it didn't make it. I did some early pre-production for The Last of Us. Early pre-production, never made the game, but it was fun. It was a good chance to work on it. I worked on Indiana Jones for Xbox, worked on Buffy Vampire Slayer as well. Worked on, actually the projects where I had the most freedom was actually SpongeBob SquarePants. Yeah, so of all the projects I worked on, I went from a project called Fallout to SpongeBob, and I don't know why they hired me, but you can draw, we're hired to do SpongeBob. I didn't think I had a good time, but that was actually one of my most exciting projects. Because everything, you can do anything. So it was actually a really fun property. And I also worked at NCSoft and lots of other projects. And right now, Riot, so lots.
Did you create some heroes, champions in Riot?
Right now I'm working more on the merchandising side. I'm working on other stuff right now. So
not in the character side.
No, not yet. So a lot of the merchandising, branding side, like a lot of products there.
Because my viewers in YouTube are mostly League of Legends players.
Yeah, they're League of Legends players. There's a lot of people there, and I guess I don't really represent Riot. Like in this trip, I don't represent Riot, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm sorry.
Okay. One more question. Two questions. Let me ask again.
Yes.
Is being part of the animation industry financially rewarding? And the second question is, what career path should you take to make it financially rewarding?
The game path it is very rewarding. It really depends on where you go. I think it's very rewarding if you work hard. If you want to become a successful artist, you have to work as hard as doctors and lawyers. They work 40, 80 hours a week. If you want to become a serious artist, you have to draw 40, 80 hours a week to get good. You can't just sit down. Most artists think they only put like 20, 10 hours a week and you become an artist. That's not the case. Artists become good because they put in a lot of time, a lot of mileage to it, and they're very serious. I think if you focus on your skill set, companies recognize you and you can grow. So I guess the main part of it is if you work hard at your craft, you'll get job offers. But don't focus too much on the job, the technology, and the program, because those things get outdated. Your skill set will actually always grow with you.
What's the next step or career path from being an animator? What's your next step?
So animations usually become supervisors or leads, and from there they could become a creative director, or they could become like an art director possibly as well. It just depends on their interests and where they want to go and their skill set. That's not just I'm talking about drawing and painting. It's how they deal with people, and if they want to be part of a management team and grow in that direction. And it's not always for everybody. And it's also, I think people have to understand that becoming a lead is you're making a sacrifice. You're sacrificing your time that you'd be doing making work to lead people and guide them. And if you like doing that, that's great. But if you don't, it's going to be frustrating for you. You try to do everything yourself, and you try to lead people, and you'll burn out. So what I would say is that if you understand that, and you're willing to accept it, and you want to help people get better and help the company, then that career path is very strong.